Every Disney animated film exists in one massive shared universe. While fans might view these movies as standalone stories, dozens of Easter eggs and subtle crossovers suggest they are all part of a single, interconnected continuity. From Belle appearing in the streets of Paris during The Hunchback of Notre Dame to Rapunzel attending Elsa's coronation, the world of Disney is much smaller than it appears. This shared space implies that the laws of magic and physics are consistent across different kingdoms and eras. It turns these childhood classics into a sprawling cinematic universe that spans thousands of years. Ariel and Hercules are actually cousins. This theory is rooted in Greek mythology, where King Triton is the son of Poseidon, the god of the sea. Since Poseidon and Zeus are brothers, this makes Triton and Hercules first cousins, which by extension makes Ariel and Hercules first cousins once removed. Both characters share striking similarities, such as being royal children who feel like they don't belong and eventually giving up their divine origins for love. This familial link effectively ties the ancient world of Hercules to the underwater kingdom of Atlantica. Captain Hook was responsible for the death of Ariel's mother. In The Little Mermaid, Ariel's beginning, we learn that Queen Athena was killed by a pirate ship that crashed into a lagoon where the merpeople were swimming. Fans have pointed out that Athena looks exactly like the red-headed mermaid seen in the Mermaid Lagoon in Peter Pan. Since Hook has a well-documented reputation for terrorizing mermaids, it's highly probable he was the one captaining that ship. This dark twist connects the villains of Neverland to the tragedy that shaped Ariel's childhood. Jane Porter from Tarzan is a descendant of Belle. During the safari camp scenes in Tarzan, Rosie O'Donnell's character Turk is seen playing with a tea set that is identical to the enchanted French tea set from Beauty and the Beast. Fans argue that this isn't just a random prop, but a family heirloom passed down through generations of the Porter family. Jane shares many traits with Belle, including a love for the color yellow, a penchant for eccentric men, and an academic interest in the unknown. This connection suggests that the magic of the Beast's castle eventually faded into history, leaving only the physical objects behind. The sunken ship Ariel explores is the ship of Elsa and Anna's parents. A popular theory posits that King Agnar and Queen Iduna of Arendelle were on their way to Rapunzel's wedding when their ship was lost at sea. This connects Tangled, Frozen, and The Little Mermaid into a single timeline of events. While Frozen 2 eventually showed a different wreck, many fans still believe that Ariel found the wreckage of the Arendellian vessel in the waters of the Mediterranean. This theory highlights how the tragic loss of the king and queen may have been the spark that fueled Ariel's fascination with human stuff. Tarzan is the long-lost brother of Anna and Elsa. Director Chris Buck once fueled this theory by suggesting that the king and queen of Arendelle didn't actually die in the shipwreck, but washed up on an island where they had a baby boy. According to this view, the couple eventually built a treehouse and were killed by a leopard, leaving their infant son to be raised by gorillas. This would mean the legendary Tarzan is a prince of Arendelle, and the biological brother of the two most powerful princesses in Disney history. It's a wild crossover that perfectly aligns the timelines of the two stories. The evil queen from Snow White became Mother Gothel in Tangled. This theory suggests that the old hag survived her fall off the cliff and used her magical prowess to find the Sundrop flower to regain her youth. Both villains share an all-consuming obsession with beauty and youth, and they are both willing to kidnap or kill children to maintain their power. Fans have even pointed out that both characters possess similar daggers, and that Gothel's tower features sketches of apples. A subtle nod to her past. By taking on a new identity, the evil queen ensured her survival in a completely different kingdom. Disney named the movie Frozen to hide search results about Walt Disney. For decades, urban legends claim that Walt Disney's body or head was cryogenically frozen and stored beneath Disneyland. Supporters of this theory believe the film's title was a calculated move to manipulate search engine optimization, SEO. Now, when anyone searches for Disney Frozen, they are flooded with images of Elsa and Olaf, rather than conspiracy theories about the company's founder. By replacing the original title, The Snow Queen, with Frozen, Disney essentially buried its most famous urban legend under a mountain of ice castle content. By the way, if you guys like movie content like this, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks. Magic in the Disney universe is actually star stuff. Across the entire Disney canon, magic is almost always depicted as coming from the heavens, whether it's a wishing star, a shooting star, or the sun itself. In Brother Bear, the magic of the northern lights transforms Kenai, while in Tangled, a single drop of sunlight creates a healing flower. This suggests that stars are inherently magical in this universe and can pass that energy along to whatever they touch. It explains why the Atlantean crystals are compared to stars and why magic feels so universal across different cultures. Aladdin takes place in a post-apocalyptic future. In one scene, the genie refers to Aladdin's clothes as being so last century, despite having been trapped in his lamp for 10,000 years. If the genie was trapped in the 3rd century, that would place the movie in at least 10,300 AD. Proponents argue that the name Arabia was corrupted into Agrabah over millennia, and that the magic in the film is actually ancient technology left behind by a fallen civilization. This is supported by the discovery of a stop sign and an unexploded atomic bomb in the background of related media, suggesting the world was rebuilt after a global catastrophe. The merchant at the beginning of Aladdin is the genie in human form. Fans have long suspected this because both characters are voiced by Robin Williams and are the only 2 characters in the movie with only 4 fingers. Additionally, the merchant wears a red sash and has a curled goatee that perfectly matches the genie's design. This theory suggests that after being freed, the genie stayed behind to tell the story of his favorite diamond in the rough to travelers. It gives the entire movie a narrator who is both omnipotent and intimately involved in the outcome. Boo from Monsters, Inc. is the witch from Brave. After Sully had to leave her, Boo became obsessed with finding her kitty again and discovered that wooden doors could be used to time travel. She eventually traveled back to medieval Scotland to find the source of the magic she witnessed in the future. In the witch's hut, there is a carving of Sully and a wooden Pizza Planet truck, which would be impossible for an 11th century witch to know about otherwise. This loop explains her mastery of door magic and her mysterious disappearances whenever Merida looks away. Edna Mode intentionally gave Syndrome a cape to kill him. Edna is famous for her strict no capes rule, citing several heroes who met their doom due to costume malfunctions. When she was tasked with designing a suit for the villainous Syndrome, she included a cape that she knew would eventually get caught in a jet turbine. This turns Edna into a master strategist who protected the superhero community by building a fatal flaw into her enemy's uniform. Syndrome's gruesome end was not an accident, but the final act of a design expert who knew exactly how to eliminate a threat. Sid from Toy Story became a garbage man to rescue toys. In Toy Story 3, the garbage man seen rocking out to music is wearing the exact same black skull shirt that Sid wore in the first film. Instead of this being a punishment for his behavior as a kid, fans believe Sid chose the job so he could find and fix toys that people threw away. After witnessing his toys come to life and haunt him, Sid's perspective shifted, turning him from a torturer into a secret hero of the toy world. He uses his route to save sentient objects from the incinerator, completing a quiet redemption arc. The Cars world is the result of a human purge. In the Cars franchise, there are 0 humans to be found, yet the entire world is filled with human infrastructure like roads, door handles, and mirrors. One theory suggests that the machines gained self-awareness, potentially through the AI technology Syndrome developed, and decided humans were unnecessary. The Cars may have absorbed the personalities of their former owners, or simply outlived them in a polluted wasteland. This explains why the Cars follow human traditions and laws, but have no explanation for where their creators went. Andy's mom was the original owner of Jessie. In Toy Story 2, Jessie's former owner, Emily, is shown in a flashback wearing a red cowgirl hat with a white lace band. That hat is identical to the one Andy wears in the first film, except Andy's hat is missing the lace and has a faded mark where it used to be. This suggests that Andy's mom kept her childhood hat and passed it down to her son, creating a tragic, unspoken link between Andy and his toys. It adds a layer of emotional weight to Jessie's heartbreak, as her owner's son is now the one she looks to for fulfillment. Tarzan wore a loincloth because he was embarrassed. While nudity is the norm among gorillas, Tarzan chose to cover up from a very young age. Fans point out that humans have proportionately larger genitals than gorillas, a physical difference that would have made Tarzan stand out awkwardly in his adoptive family. The theory suggests he faced teasing or social discomfort from the other gorillas and began wearing the cloth to blend in and hide his differences. It wasn't about modesty in the human sense, but about surviving the least embarrassing aspects of being a human in a gorilla world. The new movie Hoppers is the missing link in the shared Pixar universe. This upcoming sci-fi comedy features scientists who develop technology to connect human minds with animal bodies. Near the end of the film, a scientist named Dr. Narsam shows off diagrams for future innovations, including scream energy and a talking dog collar. This directly links the events of Hoppers to the technology seen in Monsters, Inc. and Up. It suggests that these specific scientists are the ones who paved the way for animals to gain the personification seen later in the timeline. Nemo is actually a hallucination of Marlin's grief. The movie begins with a barracuda attack that kills Marlin's entire family, and the theory suggests that Nemo, whose name means nobody in Latin, never actually survived. The entire rescue mission is Marlin's mind working through the 5 stages of grief: denial in creating Nemo, anger in his obsession, and eventually acceptance. The fish in the tank represent the other parts of his fractured psyche trying to help him heal. In the end, In letting Nemo go to school, is Marlin finally accepting the death of his family and moving on? The lion pelt Hercules wears is actually Scar from The Lion King. During one of the labors of Hercules, he is shown posing for a painting while wearing a lion skin that looks exactly like the villainous Scar. This implies that after the hyenas attacked him, Scar's remains were found and eventually made their way to Greece to become a trophy for the demigod. This simple Easter egg provides a definitive link between the animal kingdom of Africa and the divine world of Olympus. It suggests that the star magic that powered the ancestors in The Lion King is the same magic that empowers the Greek gods. Bing Bong was a monster from the future who visited Riley. Riley's imaginary friend has a bizarre shape, part elephant, part cat, and part dolphin, which perfectly matches the varied designs of the monsters in Monsters, Inc. The theory suggests he was a laugh harvester who visited Riley when she was a toddler to collect energy for his world. When Riley grew up and stopped being a child, Bing Bong disappeared because he could no longer enter her room. He didn't die in the memory dump, he simply returned to the monster world, leaving Riley with only a hazy memory of her favorite visitor.